Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of JOCO Vibes. It's been a hot minute since I've been in the studio. And I'm Tiffany Carlen with Sarah Reeves, aka Red. Good morning, Sarah. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fantastic. I'm feeling good this morning. Feeling like things are gonna get accomplished, and I'm excited about it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes. It's already been a busy summer.
Well, yeah, your daughter went to Washington.
Yes, she went to DC
Um,
and then she was gone a whole nother week. So then I was like in discombobulated for a whole week.
Oh, she was. Did she get back and then go off to Dad's?
Yeah.
I guess
it
I
was,
didn't. I guess I didn't realize that. I thought you had her.
It was
Well, it's
miserable.
Father's Day, so
Yeah.
yeah.
It was
Does it just throw you off course? Like you don't know what to do with
100%.
yourself?
100%. Like nothing's right, nothing's in order, nothing makes any sense. And yeah, it's hard to stay on track.
Does it throw you out of like, okay, I don't have to take a child to school, so
Oh, no, that's number one.
I don't want to do anything.
That's number one.
I can sleep in.
And I shouldn't, but I do. And so, yeah, it's just wild.
It's like it's the summer routine, and it changes. Like I have more opportunity that, I mean, Maximus is they were gone for 10 days, so really they were gone for almost 12. And so I was a little bit out of my normal routine, but typically the week that they're gone in the Boundary Waters, um, I'm typically on my own vacation, and then I catch up with them in Minnesota for another week.
Yeah.
But we didn't do that this year because Maximus had to come back because he's going into his freshman year of high school, as you know. And so
Yes.
he's in like football camp and strength and conditioning camps and all that kind of stuff. And so typically they go into the BWC in August, early August, late July, early August. And so because of that, we had to kind of like change up the schedules. And anyway, so I did take my own vacation, but I kind of staycationed. I mean, I was working, but I didn't feel beholden to, except for I came to the office like when I absolutely had to be here to take care of things and
Sure.
set things up on computers and check on things and check mail and that type of thing. And other than that, I was kind of free to work from wherever I wanted to. And I either worked from home, Palapa Bar, or had lunch. I had to run to Dallas. I had a lot going on anyway.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my typical normal have to get up, get a kid to school, and
Yeah.
go about my day then. So it's different. I mean, I think every parent has to adjust for the summer as to figure out, okay, how do we stay in some sort of normal routine?
Well, especially when we don't have a regular, there's not something whipping us to have to be for people like you and me, where we don't have somebody there whipping us
You
to
own your own
have-
business.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
And you're accountable
We're
to
the
yourself.
one driving the bus.
Right. But I was working every day.
Sure.
The
But
difference
just
is
the
it's just
schedule's just off.
no, my schedule really wasn't that off. The difference was that I was getting up and I was brushing my teeth, making my coffee, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit at my counter.
There's nothing wrong with that.
My computer's already set up, and that's the great thing about owning your own business. And Adam Smith, who is the fat loss coach, I was messaging with him yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, are you going to join us tomorrow morning, or we on?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute." And I did. He's like, "Yeah, I'm in." He goes, "I'm not on vacation. I'm working here I'm working from here for the next 3 months." And I was like, he's in the Dominican Republic. So typically he's on Wellness Wednesday. And I just kind of said, I don't know if he's coming on today or tomorrow because I don't know if he caught on to that I was in the wrong day. So, anyway, happy belated Father's Day to every father, bonus father, and father figure who's been out there and doing their thing for people. And I think that's why I was off on my days, because Todd and Maximus, my husband and my youngest, got back. They got back on Sunday. And so we had a Sunday fun day and, Father's Day, and just, chilled by the pool.
Yeah.
While they unpacked at the same time and did laundry, and it It just threw me off. I didn't know what day it was at all.
It's just been wild.
Yesterday felt like Sunday.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I did on this weekend? I went to the Chris Stapleton concert with my eldest sister Rhonda.
I saw that picture of you.
It was so much fun to get to go with her and do that because she's been like 4 times, and she's like, she messaged me 6 months ago, and she was like, "You, me, second row from the stage,
Nice.
Chris Stapleton." And I was like, she goes, "You in?" And I was like, "If you've gone that many times and you think it's that valuable to go and do that and be
It's Chris Stapleton.
I'm like, yes, I'm absolutely in. Well, I don't have a lot of experience going to concerts, like large concerts, like local live band stuff. That's different. But you know, so anyway, I was like, absolutely, I'm in.
I'm going to say I'm pretty picky about where I sit, and I will not do nosebleed seats. It's just I want to be in the show. I prefer a more intimate type of concert. Like I don't know how I would have done.
Well, we were very intimate with the people around us down there in the pit. Let me just tell you. And I found out why Dad would never let us do Reeves family functions with his extended family because we might be hot blooded.
Oh boy. Okay, so
and my sister is little bitty. She's like 5'1", maybe. And she's tiny.
But were you with other extended family members, or no?
It was just me and my sister, my oldest
Okay.
sister Rhonda. And then so we're down there in the pit, and people are running around like trying to sneak up on. And we made a network. You know, we had a
Yeah.
group. Well, we were all like, yeah, let's make sure whenever somebody needs to go to the bathroom, like we make sure we help each other out. So yeah, we're good.
Were you in the standing?
Well,
you were standing pit
in the pit.
Yeah.
So we stood from 3 p.m. until midnight. And well, so people would come in and try to get in. Well, then like everybody in the group would kind of just like stand there and wait, like for somebody to enforce what we agreed on. Well, Rhonda and I didn't have a problem doing it. She's like, she grabbed one girl's overall strap and was like, "Get out of here!" And she's a little spitfire.
I think it's so fair to do that. People pay big money to be in those spots.
Yeah. Well, our tickets were over $400.
Yeah. So to think that you should just be able to come up and shove your way up to the front of the stage is bullshit.
Yeah. Just because you think you're entitled, pretty little, tiny little thing. Like, no, lady, no.
I went through that.
We were here all day.
10-ish years ago. Maybe it was 12 years ago. No. How old is Maximus? Maximus is about to be 14. So 10 to 12 years ago, and it was Gary Allen at Lone Star Park. Okay, and this was like one of the first. This may have been the first year he did a concert there, and I had bought VIP tickets for my sister and a friend. And the VIP, you get the whole tent experience, you get all that.
Yeah, we got that. That was
and then you got the pit, which means there's about 10 rows of you that are standing. I mean, we call it rows, but everybody kind of knows the same thing. But this one was actually, it's marked off. Like you can't get in there.
Yeah, we had to have a special bracelet.
But we still had people who were pushing from the back. I had such a bad offender. And then I had someone who was like taking video, and they're reaching over they're resting on my shoulder basically to get video of him.
Oh my God.
Okay. And this is the first year that it was happening there. So it was not super packed. It was not like every year that he did it after that, it got bigger, because he was getting more popular and bigger and popular and bigger. And I was like, no, I can't stand. If I'm going to be up in the front, I really want to be in a designated seat so that I don't have to deal with people like that, because I have the same problem and I'll lose my crap.
She goes, I only get mad at concerts. And I'm like, she's like, because I mean, I pay a lot of money. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing for fun. You're gonna like ruin it.
And people just shove.
You're not gonna ruin it for me, motherfucker. Oh, sorry.
Hey, it's a morning show. Depending on where you are. I mean,
it's summer.
Right. It's all right. MFer. Morning, Jimmy Fricks. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Period. It's been a fight. It seems like it's been kind of like a feisty.
Yeah.
I don't know. Feisty is not the right word. Weird things have evolved.
Speaking of weird.
I don't know if this one's weird so much as man.
Well, I have to add to my weekend.
Oh, okay. Keep going. Keep going.
So Rhonda was staying at her mother's house, which is not her mother's house. She's living with someone very famous in Fort Worth, Cullen Davis. So
Oh,
she's living at Cullen Davis's house in Colleyville. And so we spent the night up there, and my mom goes, you can just come back home. It's okay. Because, he's famous for being acquitted of murdering his wife and her boyfriend. Do you need that?
I do need it. Just unplug the bottom one.
Okay. And so anyway, it was really neat, but it was kind of odd too. And then what else was it? So then the next morning, like, we get up and have breakfast, and yeah, he's walking around. He's 90 years old, still kicking it. I'm like, geez, that's longevity.
Right.
And while we're sitting there having breakfast, we're reading the morning news, the Dallas Morning newspaper. And there is a full page, full color obituary for this couple out of Dallas.
Okay, that's where this story came from that you were
Yes.
messaging me about that I didn't read about. Okay.
Yeah. So this couple, they're both 84, which was the same age my dad died. And they both died in the same night in their house. Peacefully, it said. And it's a full, I've never seen an obituary that big. And I can only imagine how expensive that obituary costs them to put out there. But he was apparently like a CEO at Texas Instruments, and like had been working there since like the beginning of time or something.
So is the article, so you had mentioned something about us, suspected.
So it was just so weird because they both died at the same night, peacefully in their home.
Have you seen The Notebook?
Yeah, okay, that's a movie.
Well, I'm just saying it could happen.
Yeah, that's a fairy tale.
It could happen.
I'm just saying they had lots and lots of money. Lots of money. They're Highland Park people.
Well, if they wanted to go together and they did,
I'm just saying it's just
so be it.
But it's not Switzerland, guys.
You know what I mean? It's not
still illegal.
I believe in
freaking. It's just freaking weird.
I believe in human euthanization personally. If people want to make that choice in an elderly age or in a sick state, if they're dying, and it's painful, and no one should have to suffer like that. And if they choose to do something like that, I think that's up to
so
them.
Personally, last night I ended up watching the movie Me Before You, and it's where the guy has like a spinal cord injury.
Oh yeah, super cute.
Yeah,
it's like
but he chooses to do that. He goes to Switzerland and does that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, is that what just happened? And
maybe Park, is that why Dallas? Is that what it was just kind of running through your mind like that?
Like me, she reads this to me out loud, and I was like, "What?" She goes, "That doesn't sound right."
Okay, so this is so crazy. So I go looking for this story, but I didn't know the details, right? Because you and I were having just kind of a short, quick conversation about it, and so I went Googling it, and I messaged you, and I was like, "Hey, is it this couple?" So another couple was killed in Dallas. They were hit by a car at the same time.
Well, that makes sense.
Not in a car. They weren't in a car.
Oh.
They were pedestrians.
Oh.
And they were a couple.
Oh, that's sad.
It is super sad. All of it's sad. Death can be sad, right? All right, death to the first half. We'll be back after
more
this
weird
break.
Shit later. We'll be right back.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $60 $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
JOCO Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
NTX Radio, formerly JOCO Community Radio, is a member of EMG of Radio and Podcast Collective, proudly serving all of North Texas. We are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network and on our station app. Download it for free. Check out our lineup and more at ntxradio.com. We thank our valued partners in helping us amplify the voices of North Texas.
You from Jersey?
Oh, this little ADD. Be sure to connect with Todd Hurd and Associates, attorneys at law, for your civil law needs at texasattorneylaw.com. Use code JOCO2824 for 25% off your first order at thetiffy.com. Processing credit cards? Join the Swipe Nation today and save on processing fees at swipenationusa.com, locally owned and operated. Are you ready to deliver the right message to the right people at the right time? Reach out to us at ntxradio.com at t.hurt@ntxradio.com for advertising rates as low as $50 a month.
I love that you and Jason Bagley started doing that. So welcome back to the second half of JOCO Vibes. I'm Tiffany Carlen with Sarah Reeves.
Hey.
K.A. Red.
Hey, Chad Brown. Thanks for watching.
Good morning. This I'm gonna say it's a beautiful Tuesday. It is beautiful.
It is. It's quite lovely.
It's another day alive. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's been some crazy news. Like other than this couple, passing away. It'll be interesting to see if they
if they disclose anything, or if they investigate
just,
it, or
if they just completely
sweep it under the rug.
They're like,
they're not gonna do anything.
34 years old. I don't think any kid, but typically they have to run an autopsy on stuff like that because, I mean, even with my mom,
I think that they probably had enough money to make it okay.
Maybe.
No, I'm gonna tell you they did.
Well,
I'm just gonna say
it's possible.
They definitely had the funds to make it go away if they wanted it to go away.
All right. So
they had enough funds to make it happen. So there's that.
Yeah. So
that's speculation.
On a continued sad note, continued sad note, because I do think this is very sad.
It is.
The owner of Complete Canine Training, James Nicolopoulos.
I don't know how to say that.
It's Nicolopoulos, aka he's known as Jimmy Nico. He was arrested for alleged dog abuse. I'll say alleged, but I've seen the video and it's pretty horrific.
And there's more than one video.
Yeah, and it's pretty horrific. So Complete Canine Training. I know that there was no complaints of him injuring clients' dogs. this was a dog. At least one of the dogs was one that he had purchased from a breeder, and so I came across it because somebody, the person that the breeder that he bought the dog from, shared the whole story and
Yeah.
said that he had finally been arrested, so or formally been arrested for it. So they get to the bottom of it, and anyone who's done any wrongdoing is
And-
held accountable.
And I know what it's like to be in an abusive situation, and if they're doing it to the dogs, then they're doing it to other people, to people in the home.
It's just really,
And it's a very sad, scary place to be
Yeah.
in your life.
that's possible.
I mean, it's most likely, I mean,
Allegedly.
right.
So yeah, so I guess we'll kind of keep watch as to how that unfolds, and
I hope that they found good places for the other dogs, and like I don't
They
know,
did.
I don't
They-
even know what all happened with all that, but I hope that they did, and that everyone else is now safe.
Yeah, his wife is actually the owner of Local Life magazine. So yeah, this is a sad story to unfold, because no one animal abuse is so unnecessary. It's just so unnecessary.
Right.
And when you see the things that are on this video, it's just straight up anger.
Yeah.
Is what it looks like to me. And and you can see the fear in the dogs, and that's terrible. And my brother's a breeder and Schitzen trainer, and has been for 30 plus years. And he's never had to be physically harmful to his dogs. It's not how you train a dog.
No.
You don't have to be that way. It's not how you train people.
No.
Isn't that interesting? Like, if you
Right.
really think about the two things, because you have been through things like that, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, speaking from experience, that image in that video, in both videos that I've seen, is yeah, that's what they do. And it's not just going to be one thing. They're going to come after more than one thing. It's they can control their anger. They just choose not to with you.
right.
And it's sad.
Yeah. I've met the guy once. I thought he was very nice, and I mean, honestly,
They're
that's
usually really charming.
it's really all I know. That's all I know about him. So,
I've never met either one of them.
so
I hope
hopefully
that
they get to the
everyone's
bottom
safe.
of the story, and whatever wrongdoing was done is, he's held accountable for it, if that's the case. So
Yeah.
anyway, how about focus word of the week?
Yeah,
Shall
let's
we?
shift gears and
All right. Dun, 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 dun.
focus.
I don't know what word was done last, so I'm just gonna.
I think we did that one.
Okay. All right. Kindness is this week's word. If you don't,
How appropriate is that?
Right?
It's about kindness.
if you don't know what this is a book called Focus. It's how one word a week will transform your life. It's by Clear Cherry Reeves. And this week's word is kindness. He has showered his kindness on us, along with all wisdom and understanding. Ephesians 1:8. And the tip of the week is, when you find yourself trying to avoid that certain someone, remember kindness and turn around, talk to them, give them your time, and share the love of Christ. I want to say something about that with this story that we just talked about with Jimmy Nico, because I've been a victim of doxing, which is when people go, or a person will go, and which is illegal, by the way. Doxing, look it up. It's when a person or a group will go and seek out information about someone to specifically post it, to share it publicly with malicious intent.
Okay.
And I've been a victim of that.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know how harmful that can be, not just for the person you're doing it to, but to their entire family.
Right.
And so, we talked about this story very briefly, because it is just something that's happening locally, and it is something to be aware of if you haven't
Right.
been paying attention. However, the doxing part of it that I'm talking about is actually one of the same people that did this to me had or immediately went and posted about this guy and tagged his or at least mentioned the wife and the business name and everything else in a negative way. And it's just not necessary.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
share the story. There's something happening here. I hope they get to the bottom of it. Maybe we're seeing it wrong. I don't know. I'm not the law.
Kind of
We
hard
just
to
let them
see a
do.
video of a man throwing a dog around the
Yeah.
room
Yeah. And see that it's not
multiple times.
that it's not what it is. I agree. But I just think that
That doesn't make it her fault.
it doesn't make it her fault. It doesn't affect, what she does as a person for her living, for anything else,
And the community.
and the community, and this individual who's doing this online. I mean, already, I mean, it's just ironic, right? Because I had asked, I was messaged right away going, hey, so I wonder when that person's, photo is going to be shared on social media and they're going to bash, them too, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? I hope not. I hope not, because I've been that victim of sharing, misleading and false information too. So anyway, but I just hope for a good outcome, and all the dogs are safe, and that's the most important thing right now, is that they're safe. And this particular dog, that the complaint on the abuse came from, is doing very well now, but had some serious deep bruising underneath the
sure.
skin and everything. And it was just internal, and it's terrible. Now, that's not to say that we shouldn't talk about this. And because I can see that in your face too. Like, if something happens and you see video of it, you can't not talk about it, just because you also know the names and the players that are involved.
Right.
And abuse is abuse, no matter how you look at it.
And anybody's capable of doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors. And I think that that's extremely important to know, that nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors. So everything may look just great on the outside, and you have no idea what kind of hell is happening.
That's right.
When nobody else is watching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hate that this is something you've gone through personally. And I hate that for you.
But I mean,
here you are.
Yeah, and I want to raise awareness for that.
Well, and you talk about it. I mean, that's the most important thing. I mean,
it's also why I voted for the new DA.
Absolutely.
Because he was going to now start going after and helping domestic violence cases.
Right.
And persecuting those, because they weren't being prosecuted at all.
Correct.
Anyway.
And the reason behind all of that is just such bullshit. So, all right, tomorrow.
I would have gone to court for mine for sure.
Did you ever file charges?
I didn't have to. I got out of it.
But
if
sorry, my nose.
If it had gotten to that point, yeah. But you don't know that you can get out, and you don't know how easy it is to actually get out until you get out.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
Maybe somebody's been set free this week, and I want to wish them the best.
There you go. All right. Cheers to that. All right. Tomorrow is a holiday. It's Juneteenth.
It's today, isn't it?
Yep.
Today is Juneteenth.
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Juneteenth.
Tomorrow's the 19th. It's typically, all these years, I mean, it's been kind of overlooked until it was made a national holiday. So it is a national holiday. And it's Jubilee Day. It's Emancipation Day, Freedom Day, Black Independence Day. So it just kind of depends on how you've been raised into knowing what this day means. But on June 19th, 1865, Union troops freed enslaved African Americans in Galveston Bay and across Texas, some 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. So this is a history of, freeing enslaved people. And it's just amazing that when you say that, that happened in our history.
Right.
It's still happening today. It's just in such a
different form.
And not, I think, widely paid attention to. Although P. Diddy is,
paying for it.
He's in some trouble. and for human trafficking and sex rings and all kinds of other stuff that's coming out. And so I just watched that documentary over the weekend, or one, I don't know what day it was, but I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And I was like, where have I been the past few weeks? Because I was talking to some other friends. She's like, she's like, she was Shelly, and Shelly's like, what? You don't know what's going on? I'm like, no. She goes, no, TD Jakes stepped down from his church.
Did he really?
Yes, because
I didn't know that.
He's been to parties at P. Diddy's.
Wow.
Yep.
I was holding my breath waiting for that.
Oh, yeah. And
that's sad. I'm a firm believer, and I love listening. Like, I feel like TD Jakes is anointed. I know that. Like, I know. But I'm like, I'm waiting.
Is he anointed though?
No, yeah.
Or was he just manipulative and was abusing a system of faith to look? I don't. There's no charges against him yet, so I mean everything's alleged right now. But he did step down from the biggest church in Dallas.
But the word says that the gifts of God are given to you without repentance. So like you have the gift, and so you have like, and I do believe that he's a believer, but he fucked up, right?
Oh yeah,
sorry,
pretty bad.
Okay, I've said F word twice today on the radio.
Well, he's not the only pastor. Robert Morris stepped down. No, he didn't step down. Robert Morris. So it became public that 20 years ago he had a sexual relationship with a younger person, and they kind of tried to sugarcoat it a little bit. And he's like, well, they've forgiven me and everything. Well, 20 years ago, he was what, in his 40s? And she was 12. And I'm really sad about that because he is one of my favorite pastors.
Right.
So I'm with you, right? Like it's
right.
They have a gift and all this stuff, but
and the word says that the one sin is not greater than the other. Like they're all equal. So, like it sucks and it doesn't make any of it okay. But that's his sin. My sin is probably I eat too much or I drink too much or whatever. And so our sins are different, but that doesn't mean that they're not equal.
Yeah, I don't. My husband, it was from back in the 1980s. So, I guess I'm a little off on wasn't 20 years ago. I was going off. My husband told me the story, and I didn't go.
Yeah,
I didn't go read it myself.
That's almost 40 years because I'm 39.
I think what I want to know about it is, it said mega church pastor admits past inappropriate behavior with young lady after accusation of molesting a 12-year-old. Okay. And so it apparently happened in the 1980s.
For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Not one is perfect. No, not one.
Well, I think what I question is, why is this coming out?
Yeah, why is this coming out now?
It was 40 some years ago. And he said, I asked their forgiveness and they graciously forgave me. That's what his quote was. He said in March of 1987, the situation was brought to light and it was confessed and repented of. I submitted myself to the elders of Shady Grove Church.
So it came out in 87.
Yeah. And
so it was already dealt with in 87.
And the young lady's father, they asked me to step out of ministry and receive counseling and freedom ministry, which I did. Since that time, I have walked in purity and accountability in this area. Morris said in his statement, adding he and his wife met with a survivor of her family in 1989. I asked their forgiveness and they graciously forgave me. Okay.
So it was dealt with 40 years ago or 30 years ago. Why are we talking about it now as my, okay, that was dealt with and they, everybody dealt with it and forgave or didn't forgive or whatever, but the truth was already out there.
Well, it says in 2016, Morris was part of Trump's Evangelical Executive Advisory Board. The campaign announced in a news release at the time. Trump also held a roundtable at Gateway's Dallas campus in 2020, and Morris led a prayer before the event. I don't know. I'm just going to assume that this is a Trump tied to thing. I mean, he was pretty. If I remember correctly, TD Jakes was a big part of his pastoral team as well. So. I don't know. That's I'll have to read a little more on it tonight and see what exactly I can find on it. But it's hard to watch.
We'll get back to you on that tomorrow.
Yeah. I think it's hard for a lot of people to watch people that well, first of all, I'm going to say this. I think it's a terrible and the biggest mistake you can make is taking a pastor and putting them on a pedestal.
Sure.
Because
they're human.
They're human, and that's their job in leadership. And we have political people in leadership, and it's harder when we put our pastors on a pedestal and we expect them to be perfect like Christ, and that's not what it's supposed to be. I mean,
they're held to a higher standard, number one, and there's going to be more judgment put onto them anyway, because that's just how that works.
Well, and that's the whole part of it, though, is that they shouldn't be held. The only person that they're more accountable to is God, in my opinion. If you're a leader, a spiritual leader in some way, that's who you are more accountable to, not other sinners. So, I mean, we have such a great freaking problem in this world today. It's one of our biggest problems is Christians judging Christians and who's more conservative. And I mean, I just watched.
I don't want to go to church. It's full of hypocrites. Well,
Right.
Okay. Well,
Right.
All right.
And, and the conversations that are happening are just, I mean,
we're all in there because we're hurting.
Right. Right. And
hurt people.
And God always says, come one, come all. So it doesn't really matter. And, doesn't matter what kind of, sinner you are. Anyway, it's kind of like Juneteenth, and there's been some mixed conversation about, how this should be celebrated, what should be celebrated. I read a great article last night that talked about, hey, it's not just about what happened in 1865. We have to celebrate Juneteenth in what's happening today. And because it's a constant evolving scenario, I think, in our nation.
Well, I mean, it's just like Independence Day. It's not that, we're celebrating Independence Day, but we're reminding ourselves and our country that we're free.
All people are free.
Right. But that yes, that we're
Yeah.
free. We live in the United States of America. We're free. We have liberty, and we're able to roam around this country and profess that we love God or that we like this or whatever we want to do, because within our rights. So we have to remind ourselves, or what are we going to fight for? Because we don't know. We're not thinking about it. We're not reminded. We're supposed to learn our history so that history doesn't repeat itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. All right.
God bless America. Okay, I'll keep going.
All right. This could be the final. This could be the final game tonight, people in Florida.
Oh, Stanley Cup. I was like, no, the Mavericks lost last night, lady.
Yeah, that's over. That's over. That was the same thing for them. It was like the Celtics just wanted to get home so they can win at home. Because you went from a blowout to a
Another
122 to 84, loss. Was like, come on. The blatant fouls that night. I'm not talking about last night. I'm talking about the last game when they were playing in Dallas. Okay.
Yeah.
And you could just see the blatant fouls and everything. It was like, okay, just get home so you can win and be done with it. And I think that that's what happened with hockey too. And I don't blame them. I'd want to win at home too, like the final game at home.
Sure.
So I think tonight it's the final game, in my opinion. My humble
I
opinion.
wanted the Oilers to win because they beat us, but
I don't. I don't care. I'll go this way. I really don't care that much, because neither one of these are my teams.
Right.
Like my husband and my son are rooting for Edmonton, and I'm rooting for Florida because I absolutely love the freaking coach. I love him.
You've talked about that multiple times.
And my husband's the one who my husband was like, watch this guy. He's freaking hilarious. He's awesome. And then I was like, I'm in. That's who I want to win. Am I hot flashing?
It got a little warm in here.
Okay.
It might just be us.
Gosh. This got like seriously hot. Like, is this an internal thing happening to me?
No,
I don't know what's happening
no,
here.
my hands are sweaty. It's not just you.
Yeah. So
my hands are sweaty.
It's not you. It's me.
Wow. I was giving both of us a compliment.
Well, it's like that breakup thing. Like, that's what people say. And I've had great conversations, like, back in the day when I was single. It was like, Listen, it's not me, it is you. And that's why I'm breaking up with you. Okay. Because it's you.
You're a problem.
It's not me. It is you. No, it's you. It really is. Like, could you imagine just being like so confident in going? I mean, it's hard to do that because I think when people break up, it's you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But then
Sure.
there's times where I think you
Sometimes
just
you have to because
like
they're not getting the message.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
You gotta go.
Yeah, I had one of those scenarios in the past where I was like, no,
I
was pretty sure in my decision that this
I
is
had an
over.
ex-boyfriend that it took me months for him to get the message that we were done. And I would look at my friend and go, I said the things, like, you were there. You heard me say the things. Like, I broke up with you. Why are you still here? Go away.
Because you are just too kind.
Well,
I don't know how I got onto that, but
got rid of him.
All right, so tonight's
for that note, yes, I'm single.
Okay, I'm going to say tonight, 7 p.m.
Go Oilers.
Puck drops, and well, it doesn't ever drop right at 7. And could be final game. I don't want to say final game, but it could be final game in Florida. And so it'll be fun. We're going to watch it poolside again.
Hey,
That's what we're doing.
Correlations. So I posted this thing, and it's like this kitty cat on top of this car awning thing, and it's like jammed down and broken, and like, and he's like right nestled in where it looks like it was hit. So it looks like the cat, like this little tiny cat, did this big, huge damage on this big metal thing. Well, it's correlation is not causation.
Right.
So one of my favorite correlating stories I've heard is, when ice cream sales in Oregon are at their highest, there's also massive amounts of shark attacks in Florida. What's the correlation? It's summer.
That's it. Truth.
It's truth. It's just, it's summer.
That's good. Hey,
It's
by
just
the way,
summer.
we are about to officially launch our second studio in Fort Worth. It's located inside Launchbox. Go to Launchbox, check it out if you're looking for a creative space to co-work, or if you're you need to host an event in Fort Worth, or whatever it is you need to check out Launchbox. We're going to be talking a lot about them as we open our doors over there. Super excited. Have an amazing day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. God bless and be kind.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio. Attention all